The summer of 2024 was supposed to be our family's escape, a chance to unwind at our cozy lakeside cabin in upstate New York, a place we'd owned for over 2 decades. I'm Ethan, and together with my wife, Claire, and our 7-year-old daughter, Sophie, we packed up for what we thought would be a serene July getaway. Sophie clutched her prized possession, a hand-carved wooden sparrow named Sparrow, crafted by her late grandfather. To her, it wasn't just a toy, it was a piece of Grandpa, a tangible link to the man who'd filled her world with stories. But what started as a peaceful retreat spiraled into a nightmare when an entitled neighbor decided Sparrow belonged to her son. This woman's obsession turned our vacation into a battlefield, and her one critical mistake unraveled her entire world. Let me tell you how it went down. It was a crisp Saturday morning when we arrived at the cabin. Sophie, bubbling with excitement, ran to the lake's edge, setting Sparrow on a smooth stone while she built a tiny twig fort around it. "Grandpa would love this view, Sparrow," she whispered, her voice full of joy. I was sipping coffee on the porch, savoring the quiet, when I noticed a trio approaching along the shoreline. A polished woman in her 40s, her hair perfectly styled, a boy about 8, and a man lagging behind, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. The boy, later introduced as Dylan, froze, pointing at Sparrow. "Mom, I want that," he shouted, his tone dripping with entitlement. The woman, Cassandra, a prominent figure in the homeowners association, strode over with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "What a lovely little carving," she said, her voice syrupy but cold. "Dylan adores handmade things, don't you, sweetheart?" Dylan nodded, his gaze locked on Sparrow like a predator. "It's cooler than my toys," he declared, stepping closer to Sophie. Cassandra's smile tightened. "Some kids just have better taste, don't they?" I stood, sensing trouble. "It's a family heirloom," I explained calmly. "My father made it for Sophie before he passed." Cassandra's expression flickered, not with empathy, but with calculation. "How tragic," she said, her tone laced with mock sympathy. "But Dylan deserves something like that more. He appreciates quality." The audacity hit me like a slap. Dylan, emboldened, marched toward Sophie. "It should be mine," he insisted, reaching for Sparrow. Sophie clutched her toy, her eyes wide with fear. "Daddy, why does he deserve Sparrow more than me?" she asked, her small voice trembling. The question hung in the air, exposing the cruelty of the moment. Even the man with them, presumably Cassandra's husband, shifted uncomfortably, avoiding eye contact. He seemed cowed by her, saying nothing. Cassandra, though, thrived on the tension. "Some families understand sharing with kids who truly value nice things," she said, pulling out her phone and snapping photos of our cabin, the lakefront, and Sophie with Sparrow. "What are you doing?" I demanded. "Just documenting for community records," she replied, her smile sharp as a blade. Dylan's tantrum erupted when he realized he wasn't getting the Sparrow. "It's not fair," he screamed. Cassandra, unfazed, led him away, calling over her shoulder, "Some adults need to help kids get what they deserve." The encounter left Sophie shaken, clutching Sparrow tightly. "Did I do something wrong, Daddy?" she whispered. Claire, emerging from the cabin, wrapped her in a hug, her teacher's instincts sensing trouble. I recounted the incident, and Claire's worry deepened when I mentioned the photos. "That doesn't feel random," she said. The next morning, my phone pinged with an email from the HOA, subject, "Violation. Remove toy from common area." Signed by Cassandra. It claimed Sophie's Sparrow violated community guidelines and demanded its removal within 48 hours, threatening county authorities. I called the number listed, and Cassandra answered, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Oh, the wooden object incident," she said, chuckling. "It's disturbing children who understand proper etiquette." I explained it was just a toy on our property, but she cut me off. "Some families grasp community harmony, others need guidance." The call ended abruptly, leaving me fuming. By Tuesday, a second email arrived, titled, "Final Warning. Authorities will be contacted." It threatened child services over supervision concerns if the Sparrow wasn't removed by 5 p.m. Claire, reading over my shoulder, whispered, "Child services? Ethan, what if they investigate us?" The fear in her voice ignited my protective instincts. Sophie, oblivious, played by the lake, arranging stones around Sparrow to keep him safe. Claire suggested hiding Sparrow temporarily, but the sight of Sophie's joy hardened my resolve. This wasn't just about a toy, it was about our daughter's innocence. I dug into Cassandra's HOA reign, uncovering a chilling pattern. She joined 3 years ago, swiftly seizing multiple roles. Complaints on the community board spiked around the same time, targeting families with young kids. Meeting minutes revealed her push for rules like Section 8.2, community aesthetic standards, used to harass families over play equipment. A neighbor, Harold, a retired property lawyer, confirmed my suspicions. He'd warned Sophie to be careful, later apologizing for scaring her. Over coffee, he revealed Cassandra had driven out 3 families with children under 10, using noise complaints and bogus violations. She wants Dylan to have no competition, Harold said. She believes other kids' happiness diminishes his. Then came the bombshell. County records showed our property extended 1.5 meters beyond the assumed boundary, meaning Sophie's play area was ours, not HOA land. Cassandra's violations were legally baseless. I found similar disputes involving other families, all of whom sold their cabins after relentless harassment. The pattern was undeniable. Cassandra was weaponizing the HOA to control private property, targeting kids' activities to ensure Dylan's dominance. The following weekend, Cassandra and Dylan approached with purpose. She positioned Dylan 20 feet from Sophie, coaching him like a director. I watched, horrified, as she instructed him to lie. She dialed 911, reporting a dangerous man, allowing his child to play with a sharp wooden weapon. Police arrived, sirens blaring. Officer Daniels, confused, examined Sparrow and declared it harmless. Sophie, terrified, asked, "Am I in trouble, Daddy?" Later, I found her hiding Sparrow in her closet. "If I hide him, the police won't come back, right?" she said, her voice breaking my heart. Claire and I argued that night. "Maybe we should leave," she said, exhausted. "I can't watch Sophie suffer." I snapped. "So we teach her bullies win." The tension nearly broke us, but Claire's embrace pulled us back. "We'll fight together," she whispered. The next morning, I overheard Cassandra gloating to Dylan. "That girl learned she can't have what you deserve." Dylan's reply chilled me. "So I just say it's not fair, and you'll make them give it to me?" I installed a security camera, determined to catch her next move. An email announced an emergency community meeting for Saturday, August 3rd, 2024, signed by Cassandra. She aimed to paint us as troublemakers. I prepared meticulously, bringing property surveys, violation records, and Harold. The community center buzzed with tension as 25 families gathered. Cassandra, in a blazer, presented a slick case, framing us as defiant. I stood, asking, "How many of you have been cited for normal kids' activities?" Hands rose. Lisa's daughter was banned from biking. Tom removed chalk art. The room shifted as neighbors realized they weren't alone. I presented the surveys, proving our land was private. Cassandra scoffed, claiming HOA authority superseded outdated deeds. Then I played the camera footage. It showed her coaching Dylan to lie about Sparrow being a weapon, followed by her smug 911 call and gloating. "Now that girl knows she can't have what you deserve." Dylan's response, "Can we do this again for other toys?" sealed her fate. The room erupted. Lisa shouted, "You taught your son to lie to police?" Harold declared the video evidence of criminal behavior. The community voted unanimously to oust Cassandra from the HOA. A for sale sign appeared at her cabin within days. New rules protected kids' playtime, and Sophie returned to the lake, joined by friends, including Dylan, who apologized under his father's guidance. They built a fort for Sparrow, proving kindness outshines entitlement. 6 months later, Sophie plays freely, her laughter echoing. But what if I hadn't fought back? Should you stand up to bullies or walk away? Was Cassandra a monster or a mom twisted by love for her son? Should Dylan be forgiven, or did he learn his mother's cruelty? Comment below, like, and subscribe for more stories of truth triumphing over tyranny.